Hello everybody, this is an analysis of a segment from the arena on Hamza's Den. I normally cover evolution and other biological sciences. One segment from the stream involved Afif Khaja talking about evolution and the design argument. This was discussed by Drastic Measures Islam. I will instead focus on this discussion with Vegan Gains, which will cover some aspects of morality, which is a topic I have discussed before.
So my argument against your religious beliefs are that assuming you believe God to be all-powerful and all-good, you could also use a term like benevolent, then the existence of evil would be a logical impossibility. I think we can all agree that evil does exist, so there being like mass genocides, like horrible things have happened, the war in Ukraine, such and such. The existence of these things disprove the existence of an all-powerful, benevolent God, and so far I haven't been able to find anybody who could give a rebuttal or debunk to that argument.
So, Vegan Gains is using the problem of evil. What he is saying is, if God is all-powerful and all-loving, then he should be both willing and able to stop evil. As there is evil, then either God is unwilling or unable to stop it, which means he's either not all-loving or not all-powerful, or both. This doesn't disprove a God, just one that is maximally powerful and maximally good. An ambivalent God could still exist. Let's see how the intellectual giants of Hamza's Den respond to this.
Yeah, very simple. You can't define evil as an atheist.
And as expected, rather than engaging with the discussion, Sabor tries to deflect. With that statement, he's likely thinking of the argument that theists say in trying to imply that only theists have an objective morality.
Okay, well, we could... first of all, I can.
Go on then.
Okay, well, I could say evil is an egregious violation of somebody's rights or liberties that causes a significant amount of harm. I could name it any number of ways, but we could also look at this...
That's not a definition. That
is a definition.
That's empty. Okay, harm. What do you mean by harm?
Well, if I were to shoot your mother in the face, that would be harm, right?
Therefore, your definition is a tautology.
Well, no, okay, well, why are you asking me? I think we can agree what harm...
This sets the scene for most of this clip, where there is interruption and talking over each other to avoid discussing the topic at hand. Let's look at some definitions. Harm is physical or other injury or damage. Evil, on the other hand, has an element of cruelty. The key distinction is that there is a moral element to evil where it's a deliberate act or a deliberate inaction to prevent harm when one is able to. No God is needed here in this definition, so Sabor is again completely wrong. To illustrate the distinction, let's look at an earthquake. This undoubtedly causes harm. However, to an atheist, an earthquake is not evil. There was no intent to cause harm, it's just a natural event. To a theist who believes in an omnipotent and omnibenevolent God, they would have to explain why God either caused the earthquake or didn't prevent it. This can be viewed as evil as there was an opportunity to stop harm, but it was not stopped.
We can agree. No, you're trying to sidetrack things. We can make this an internal critique. We can make this an internal critique of your beliefs. Because your definition included harm. I asked what's harm, you gave an example of something that would be described as evil. So your definition is tautological. Okay, you're mixing terms. Harm isn't necessarily evil, but...
No, but you defined it.
Okay, do you believe that evil exists?
Wait.
Do you believe evil exists?
Don't change it.
Do you believe that evil exists, yes or no?
Listen, I just refuted the argument.
No, you didn't. Do you believe evil exists, yes or no?
Listen.
It's a yes or no question. Do you believe evil
Don't
exists,
change the topic now. Don't change the topic.
I'm not changing the topic. I'm asking you if you
came out
believe
all
evil
guns
exists.
blazing saying, I have this amazing argument. No one can challenge it. I knocked it down in less than...
You're not even engaging with the argument, so I'm asking you if evil exists, yes or no?
Wait a minute. Of course I believe evil exists.
Okay, so then please explain to me. Please explain to me how your God could be all good and all powerful despite the existence of evil.
Your argument is only valid if the definitions are coherent. You didn't give a definition except in a way that's tautological. So that's what we need to stick to. So carry on defining evil.
We can do this as an internal critique of your own beliefs. I don't even need to give a definition. So if you believe evil exists, if you believe evil exists, then how could an all-powerful, all-good God exist?
Either you believe in giving a definition or you believe in not giving a definition.
Give me a definition of evil. evil.
Wait, one second, my friend. You first tried to give a definition and you failed miserably.
I gave a basic definition and you just refused to accept that, and then you tried to tack on terms like harm.
One second. You tried to give a definition and you failed. So let's try.
You're just trying to avoid engaging with the actual argument. So you believe that evil exists, correct?
Wait a minute.
You're not engaging with the argument, and now you're just trying to argue about my own specific definition of what evil could be. So you believe evil exists, whatever that might be. Please explain to me how evil could exist despite the existence of an all-powerful, all-good God.
Argument that someone puts forward, the natural thing every philosophy graduate does, even a graduate does, is ask for the terms to be defined. This is a standard practice. All I simply did was ask.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
Wait 1 second.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
I'm not. You're cornered now because you tried it and you failed.
Well, no, you're cornered, and you've done everything to avoid a debate on the problem of evil because you clearly can't debate it.
How am I
So
cornered?
we'll go by your definition of evil.
And you failed.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
Should we start again?
Wait, 1 second.
We can go by your definition of evil.
One second. Firstly, you failed completely because you couldn't define evil. My definition of evil is the color red is evil.
Okay, so if you take that to be evil and your God is not evil, in fact he's all good and capable of evil and all powerful, then how could evil exist? And that could be the color red. Please explain.
Wait a second. I define anybody.
Okay, you're trying to dodge. You're just trying to dodge.
One second. Two things.
I think anybody watching this will just know you're being
right now. Anybody watching this will see you try to define evil in a way that's tautological. Then you ask me for my definition. So I said the color red is evil. Now show me how the existence of the color red is making.
Is only red evil? Is only red evil?
No, I think red and yellow is evil.
Okay, so rape isn't evil, mass killings aren't evil. You only believe red and yellow are evil.
No.
I'm not asking. I'm asking you genuinely. That is your own personal belief. You're not trying to be.
I don't believe red is evil or yellow is evil. You said come up with your own definition. So hypothetically, playing with you, what I'm trying to show you is
I'm asking you if you believe that evil exists, how can you justify that with the belief of an all-powerful God?
You remember what you said. Listen, you're the one coming up with an argument against God. You know, you're coming up with an argument against God. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I can easily
Do I have the right?
of your own beliefs.
Do I have the right to ask you to define the terms in the argument? Yes or no?
Well, I don't need to use a term like evil by my own standard of evil. This is an internal critique of your own beliefs.
Wait a minute. You want to come up with an argument, yet you don't want to define the terms of that argument.
Do you believe that it is a logical problem to believe that there is an all-good, all-powerful God and there is the existence of evil? Is that not a logical problem?
No.
How is that not a logical problem?
Firstly, I'm going to go into that next. First, I want you to define evil. Because for us to be talking, your argument, for it to make sense, we need all the things to be defined properly. So firstly, you need to define evil. Because I can define evil at any time and say the color red is evil, right? How do you define evil?
Well, yes. Well, if I'm going to say personally, I suppose I would define evil as a violation of rights or a production of harm beyond a threshold for which I would say feel comfortable with.
Here, Vegan Gaines didn't really do himself a favour by giving a poor definition of evil, in that he introduced his subjective element but omitted the crucial element of harmful intent in the definition.
Okay, I could define harm as both physical and psychological damage to an organism.
Right. So would that mean that a dentist who is removing a bad tooth, that is evil?
It's not evil, as removing the bad tooth has a good intention in preventing further harm. If the tooth wasn't bad, then it would be evil. If the dentist removed a bad tooth without using any pain relief when he could have used pain relief, then that is evil, as there is an intent to cause harm.
The problem is, you believe in an all-powerful, all-good God, but evil exists. There is a logical contradiction with that belief.
Look, you use two terms, harm and right.
By the way, I told everybody this was going to happen. You are not going to engage with the topic, and you're just going to blab. And I knew this.
Okay, so let me just recap how we got here. Before I explain why the problem of evil is not a logical contradiction for Muslims, you poorly attempted to try and explain why it is a logical contradiction, but you couldn't do so because atheists do not have a definition for evil.
No God is needed in the definition of evil, so atheists can have a definition of evil.
And your definition included two things which you refused to actually define. Actually, no, you did define. You did actually define harm, but the way you defined harm was in a way that was tautological. Then I asked you to define rights, and you didn't actually define rights except by subject to other human beings.
Wait a second.
So now we will get into why it's not a logical. Wait.
How is defining harm as physical and psychological damage to an organism a tautology?
Because you're giving an example of something that's evil.
Well, no, part of my definition of evil involved harm, and then you asked me to define harm. Mm-hmm. So how is the definition of harm, physical and psychological damage to an organism, how is that a tautology? Not asking you whether or not my definition of evil is a tautology. How is that definition of harm a tautology?
I never said the definition of harm is a tautology.
No, Sabor, you said his definition of harm was a tautology.
But the way you defined harm was in a way that was tautological. I wasn't saying harm is a tautology. I was saying your definition of evil is a tautology. You weren't even listening.
Okay, and how was that? Well, you did. That's what you said. And okay, fair enough. If that's what you believe, please explain to me how my definition of evil is a tautology. You haven't even made an argument against the problem of evil. You haven't explained anything, and all you've been trying to do is make me explain definitions.
No,
when it's
what I
pointless
did is
to
I showed you
discussion.
arguments incoherent, totally.
Well, I even offered to make an
And
intellectual
wait,
take of
one
your
second,
own
one second.
beliefs just to
One
streamline
second.
things, and you
Since
refuse, and you
this
just
is
want to
becoming
railroad
to a free
everything.
for all where you don't even let me complete my sentence, I'm just going to go into what I actually wanted to speak about, something else which you didn't let me complete. Your definition of rights are given by other human beings. How on earth are those rights objective in any meaningful way?
They're not.
Exactly. So
Okay,
your very definition of evil is incoherent.
So, as I predicted, rather than engage with vegan gains on the topic of the problem of evil, if you believe in an omnipotent and omnibenevolent God, Sabor tried to derail the discussion by trying to go to the many times refuted argument of you can only have objective morality with belief in a God. This is a failed argument to anybody who has understood what I have shown so far in this video, which demonstrates that evil, which includes by necessity a malicious intent, does not require the presence of God in any way. Human rights, although they are created by humans, could be objective if everybody agrees on the goal of well-being as the outcome, that objective assessments of the measures can be derived.
Because rights do not exist under an atheistic worldview. Are you an atheist?
Do you understand what the term objective means? Yes. Do you understand what the term objective means?
I think I have a fair idea of what that means, and I think I have a fair idea
Please
that
explain
you
to me
don't
what
understand what that means.
Well,
that means it's true.
Objective means mind. Objective means independent of a mind.
So why don't you explain to me how an atheist can believe in human rights?
Wait. Objective means independent of a mind, correct? We can agree on that definition?
Independent of human subjectivity.
No, Sabor. Objective does not mean independent of human subjectivity. It means not influenced by personal beliefs or feelings. Under your definition, Sabor, what a cat thinks would be considered objective.
Well, it would be independent of a mind.
Not necessarily.
Well, independent of human subjectivity
because a mind can believe 1 + 1 is 2, and it's objective.
1 + 1 = 2 is objective because it can be demonstrated to be objective by anybody who went to school ever. It's not objective because somebody believes it to be. That's not the criteria. Goodness me.
Well, yes, but that would be true without a mind present.
Yeah.
Right, so you agree with the definition, objectivity means independent of a mind. So let's just say the Earth would be here if we were here or not, right? Like if we were to just vanish, the Earth would still be here?
Look, that wouldn't make a difference because you could actually have a human mind that is conceiving of objective truths.
Well, yes, we can perceive objective truths. We can perceive reality and whether...
Let's stop running away from this.
Well, no.
This is the funniest part because when Vegan Gains showed Sabor how stupid he looks, Sabor tried to change the topic again, saying, let's not run away from the issue, which is something he has been doing since the start of this discussion.
No, this is pertinent to the discussion. No, this is pertinent to the discussion because...
How can you, where do the rights come from? You said from other human beings. So I want you to complete that line of thinking because the statement I'm going to make is the following. Atheists have no right to speak about rights because rights don't exist under an atheistic worldview. There is no
How do they not exist under an atheist
rights
worldview?
Or ethics or morality or any of these things. So let's just put it this way.
Wait. The basis for that is that you believe they're not objective,
use
correct?
the problem of evil against God doesn't make sense as an atheist. However, I'm going to ignore you and I'm going to pretend a theist is asking me the question, how can you reconcile the concept of an all-loving God with the concept that there is actually evil in the world? And the answer is very simple. The concept of an all-loving, all-powerful God is not incoherent with the existence of evil, because evil and good both are part and parcel of the test of life. So we don't say God has created this life for a cosmic disco where everyone's going to live forever and be happy. That's not the Islamic theological worldview. That's not the Abrahamic theological worldview. That is a atheist straw man, as if we should all be living in this cosmic disco. So for a theist, that's the answer I would give. But for an atheist, I'm going to give the answer that I gave.
Well, we've actually gotten to the topic now, which is great. I'm going to ignore the other issues.
So finally, we realise that Sabor's solution to the problem of evil is to drop the omnibenevolent part of the God description.
I don't know. I don't understand how an all good God would have an interest in doing that. If he's all good.
Wait.
That's like me saying.
Wait. 1 second. You just said interest. Did I mention interest?
So God doesn't have an interest in testing anybody. You just said that.
No, I said God does that, but you're saying what interest would God have? Meaning, your question now is not about incoherency. Your question is about God's will.
Yeah, so you claimed that there's no logical contradiction with the existence of evil despite the existence of an all-powerful, all-good being because God had the intention to put us through trials and tribulations, correct? Am I getting that right?
Yes, and another way of putting it is there is nothing incoherent about the existence of evil and the existence of the all-loving, all-powerful, all-wise God.
Yes, there is something incoherent in that, because if you believe in such a God, then you'd have to accept that that God either caused an earthquake or allowed it to happen, which caused objective harm to people and wildlife. I have to say many theists have come up with better explanations for the problem of evil than the garbled attempt that Sabor is coming up with now.
Where is the incoherency?
Right. The problem is that evil exists, and if God is all good, he would not allow evil to exist. And your only explanation for that is, well, God has an interest in having evil exist, which would be a contradiction.
Vegan Gains, I asked you a question. I said, where's the incoherency? You simply restated
I just pointed it out.
Where's the incoherency?
If God is all good, and he's all powerful, that means he would have the power and interest to not have evil exist. Now, by claiming... Wait, let me finish this thought.
Wait a second.
Let me finish the thought. Let me finish the thought. Let me finish. You keep railroading me every fucking time I'm about to make a point.
Don't worry about it. Stop getting triggered. Bring him back.
No, you don't swear. He's triggered. He's gone. He's left. He's run.
So Vegan Gains swore here. This is understandable to anyone who is used to dealing with Sabor and the inevitable frustration that results. Hamza, of course, kicked him off because he had to help Sabor out because he could see that Sabor was struggling. He was allowed back in for a few minutes at the end of the stream. This part of the discussion covered the possibilities of a mind of God, which is a different discussion. Thank you for watching this video and please let me know what you think in the comment section.